All right, we're live at PrisonPlanet.tv. Just started simulcasting with the syndicated radio show. And I was just making the point before we go to Jim Tucker from Greece, outside Athens, at Bilderberg 2009, that Obama is now saying that we're going to go ahead and have indefinite detention. Indefinite. See, they sell the public on tyranny for foreigners and no rights when it's really for the American people. Now they've introduced the bills to arrest you if you criticize somebody and they say it hurts their feelings in the Cyberbullying Act. They have this other act with a no-fly list for gun owners where you can't own a gun if the government secretly puts you on like a no-fly list type system. I keep telling folks that's what that was for. We'll go over it. But joining us now, we're about to go to break, is Jim Tucker. And Jim Tucker, it's good to have you here with us, joining us from Greece. Tell us exactly where Bilderberg is meeting this year and where you are located right now.
Well, they're meeting at the Aspire Palace Hotel, Aspire Palace Resort, really, as they did in 1993. Security's been stepped up heavily again this year. Of course, there's always heavy security. But this year, Bilderberg spent so much money. One of the places, there's a compound of 3 hotels in Nausicaa and 2 sister hotels, which are really huge luxury resorts. When I was here last time, I could stay at one of the sister hotels.
So, Jim, you're saying you haven't ascertained even where they're staying, though the Army is guarding one and arrested a London Guardian reporter. Stay there. Same time tomorrow, Jim Tucker of American Free Press, covering Bilderberg for 30-plus years, will be joining us. They've narrowed it down to several hotels. There's Army and police guarding several of them. A reporter got arrested, detained with London Guardian by guys with machine guns yesterday. That's in the front page of the Guardian today. So we got Jim Tucker for this segment, a little bit of the next, because a pooling meeting with the media is going on right now in his hotel. We've pulled him away. Okay, Jim, give us the data dump. Jim Tucker, what's the latest you got from Bilderberg?
Well, you talked about the Guardian reporter who interviewed me this morning. He was one of a large number of reporters who, with cameras, TV type guys mostly, who were on public land taking photographs. The cops came up, surrounded them, took their film away. Many of them were held for several minutes with drawn guns pointed at their stomachs. All be in American Free Press. Not this next issue you get, but the one after that one. So it's been very brutal security, very heavy security. Yet there's a lot of reporters here who are pursuing them, and we're getting a lot of good information. For example, we now know that Bilderberg is telling his little pet weevil, Obama, to go after the U.S. Acceptance of the International Criminal Court Treaty. You know the history of that. Bilderberg, Clinton signed off on it, but would not submit it to Congress for ratification when a test vote showed it failed by more than 90 votes. So Obama's being told to sweet talk so many of the senators who wanted to sign off, but they were scared by the voters who objected so strongly, and then hope for a more left-wing Senate elected in 2010, so that in January 2011 they can pass the thing late on a Saturday evening, too late for the Sunday morning papers, too late for the morning talk shows, and assure them that the American people be unaware of it, will not be reported. You can vote for it without risking your political neck. Of course, we knew about other parts of the agenda in advance. That's the only new thing I've got right now, but we're getting a lot of good information daily. I'll have a lot more tomorrow and a lot more before I come home on Sunday. And we have some people lingering here until Monday to do some follow-up. But and the amount of money they spent on security this year to rent a huge resort to keep it empty. And then the other resorts themselves, the third resort is being renovated. Can you imagine the big bucks they spend to say, we'll pay you not to fill up that resort, to keep it empty?
Okay, Jim, to be clear, what are the names of the resorts, and which one are you honing in on? Which one do you believe is probably the place?
Well, I know for a fact that there's Nausicaa, Oh, Lord, I always have trouble pronouncing it. I think that's their hotel. I know for a fact they're there. Good Lord, you've never seen so many cops. You always see a lot of cops. But for blocks away, my hotel is about 2.5 miles away.
Okay, so you're saying they hired other giant resort decoys then. Are you saying... Go ahead.
It's not a decoy. They hired it so that they could close the main gate leading to the whole palace, all the palace grounds. So they're sealed off at the street now. That's the reason they reserve the empty hotel, just to keep it empty so they can seal it all off. If you're not Bilderberg or Bilderberg staff, you don't get in. So that kept the demonstrators away. All the demonstrators are there. They're being heavily intimidated, but it's also heavy media attention, too.
All right, Jim, we're going to do a few more minutes on the other side. I want to specifically ask you, it sounds like you're saying this, but we'll get the answer in a couple minutes. Is this the most security you've ever seen for Bilderberg? And is Tim Geithner there? And Harrods, Times of London, they're all admitting it's world government. They have validated everything we've ever said. Stay with us. All right, we got about 3 minutes left with Jim Tucker. He's got to go back into a press conference. We pulled him away from that. He's surrounded by media. Jim, are you saying this is the most, in 30-plus years covering this, the most security you've ever seen?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes for blocks and blocks up and down the road.
And then we have a London Guardian reporter just walking on the beach sidewalk, he says, and they run over with machine guns and throw him in a police car.
Yes, they did. And as I said before, that's happened to a large number of media types out there yesterday and today.
Oh, so they mean business.
Many of the European media guys have been grabbed and held, guns pointed at them, screamed at, their films ripped out, or forced to erase their film and stuff like that. There'll be a lot in the paper on that very subject.
AmericanFreePress.net. When are we going to see some of your first reports on this?
Well, the paper that was being mailed today, Thursday, will have the report I filed, this morning your time. It'll have about a 500-word story on what little we've learned in advance of the meeting and some photographs. And then the full report will be the paper that goes to press a week from today. But I'm back in Washington.
Good. And we're going to have you on next week as soon as you get back. You're always gracious. And tomorrow at 12 noon, our time at, what time is it in Greece? 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock, yeah.
Okay, now, two final questions, Jim, here, and this is key. So you've identified the hotel. They've shut down a whole complex, though, blocks and blocks. We're getting reports that Tim Geithner is going to be in attendance, and even the Times of London and others are saying that his schedule is suspiciously empty and that this is the final meeting setting up the new banking infrastructure.
Yeah, well, Geithner was there last year. Secretaries of Defense, State, and Treasury always attend, as you know, as do high officials of the White House and other government figures. So he's definitely here. And Carl Bilk is going to make a speech about how to exploit the economic downturn to boost along the UN's World Department of Treasury.
Now, that's illegal, isn't it, to have sitting government officials at a private meeting in secret discussing and setting population Logan Act?
Criminal Act under the Logan Act. And a lot of cute little liberals say, well, the Logan Act was passed in 1787 or 89, something like that. Well, sure, but it's still there. It's been amended many times over the years. That that shows that Congress still favors the Logan Act when they amend it to tighten it up. But even if it had not been amended, it's still the law until it's repealed.
All right, one last question, because London Guardian reporter Charlie Skelton was supposed to be on the show. He's now in a police station. This is breaking news. I know you're going to hear this, Jim Tucker, but I've got to get this final question in unless your phone line gets lost or something. any other key information from your Bilderberg sources about what is on the agenda? We know they're pressuring Obama to pass this gun ban treaty, and Obama's given speeches saying he does want to do that. Is that on the agenda? The global currency tax, the greenhouse taxes, the carbon taxes? I mean, what's on the agenda?
All of that's on the agenda under the program that we did, a United World Action, global action on a global basis by global government. That's all on the agenda. It's being pushed very hard.
And this must be an important meeting if it's the greatest security you've ever seen. Jim Tucker, stay there one moment. I know you've got to go to that press conference, but Charlie Skelton, who was already